Is Facebook a dying company? That's going to be the topic of today's video. So if you're an expat or a high net wealth individual in particular, go over to adamfire.com and see how I can help you. Now, on this video, I'm going to talk about Facebook. Now, they're down about 15% from the peak. They've got a scandal at the moment with a whistleblower. Do I think that Facebook is basically a dying company? Now, nobody knows for sure, right, which companies are going to succeed and which companies are going to die. My sense is that Facebook is here to stay. It might not be in such a commanding position as Amazon, which is in many different industries compared to Facebook. And Facebook will face different pressures because at the moment, the regulators want to crack down a bit on big tech in both China and the US and beyond. And in addition to that, because of controversies about how social media might be making people more angry or affecting democracy or whatever, there will be pressures on Facebook. But at the end of the day, Facebook has been around for many years now. In fact, well over a decade, about a decade and a half. And I can remember when I first started using Facebook, it was kind of seen as a young person's thing. But many young people now don't want to join because their parents are on Facebook or even grandparents are on Facebook. So it just shows how things changed. And what's interesting is I saw the change in around 2008, 2009. I often think US elections are a great indicator of how marketing is going to go. US elections, wherever you think about them, they're so expensive. People are always on the cusp of new technologies, new ways of doing things. So for example, when Trump's team used Cambridge Analytica, that was a sign that big data was going to become more important. Likewise, I think when Nixon and Kennedy debated 40 or 50 years ago, that was a sign that the radio age was coming to an end and the TV age was coming about. And what's interesting is in 2008, when Barack Obama's team started using Facebook, that changed the dynamics. A lot of people before then, say between 2005 and 2008, they thought, oh, Facebook is just for kids. But actually what started to happen after that is people started to realize this is here to stay. And at the end of the day, Facebook, I think, it's here to stay for at least a decade or two, unless they make a big mistake. However, that doesn't mean they're going to beat the S&P 500. They may do or they may not do, but I think they're here to stay. They've also made many acquisitions such as WhatsApp and Instagram. They could also go in that direction, that even if the core brand doesn't expand, the company does. And that kind of leads me to another thing. A hell of a lot of people were complaining about WhatsApp being off for 6 hours and Facebook being off for 6 hours, including business people. Some people were complaining saying, oh, we lost so many thousands of dollars because leads weren't coming in from my Facebook ads, or I was trying to talk to a customer on WhatsApp and so on. I must have been asleep during this because I didn't have any problem with WhatsApp and talking to customers, but it must have been because of the time difference. But the point I'm making is this. That shows though what a strong position Facebook is in some ways, even though it led to the share price going down. If businesses are relying on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and just talking to customers on WhatsApp and indeed team members, that shows that technology, unlike in '99 during the tech bubble, technology is now part of our lives. It's not just part of our social life, it's part of business. Many companies now make the majority of their revenue from social media, paid ads, or organic traffic. So, at the end of the day, the social media giants are here to stay. They might have their wings clipped a bit, but I don't see them going away. How can I help you? In two ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net wealth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on adamfire.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.